I'm pretty sure that this is the shirt I wore last month for TBR Bingo. Yep, it is! Hey, hi, hello. I'm not changing my shirt, but this video is my TBR Bingo. Every single month I play TBR Bingo to pick the prompts to help pick the books that I'm going to read that month. I have these handy dandy cards I pick randomly and put them on the board. If I get a bingo, I am allowed to buy a book that month. The green squares are for owned books, the blue squares are for library books, the yellow squares are for book clubs and buddy reads, the white all around the edges are for non-reading prompts, and the white in the middle is for the book I am most excited for this month. So without further ado, I'm going to shuffle these tan cards and fill them in. Now, I put these in blind so that during the month, if I read something that touches one of them, I get to flip it, and it's something a little bit more fun for me to do later in the month. Now, let's put in my book club and buddy reads and my pick for the month. If you were here last month, you're gonna notice something is the same, and that is Oathbringer. That is because last month I only wanted to read 50% of this book because it is so big and chunky. So this month my goal, in order to clear it off the board, is to finish it, so the other 50%. This is the third book in the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. It's a big epic fantasy series about all of these different people, and they are preparing for the Knights Radiant to return to Earth, who many years ago disappeared because of something that our characters don't know about yet, and they are all joining together on the brink of war in this area called the Shattered Lands. Down at the bottom you will see my book club's pick is An Echo of Things to Come. Last month we read Shadow of What Was Lost, and so we'll be moving on to the sequel. This is a trilogy about this world where people who can control magic have been kind of outcasted, and this one boy and his group of friends go on this mission to try and stop this war from coming that is going to cause some problems. It's really good. Really enjoy this series. This is a reread for me. Oathbringer as well. Here I have Dance of a Burning Sea. It is the sequel to Song of Forever Rains, which I read last month. I'm going to be reading this with some friends. It comes out this month, so I can't show it to you or hold it because I don't have it yet, but I'm really excited about it. The first book is about this group of three sisters. One of them, the one who we are following, her voice has the ability to kill, and it is about her kind of coming of age. She's learned how to deal with her magic, but now she's learning how to go off on missions and take care of things on her own, and it's got some blood and some gore, and it's really fun. It's got some romance in it too, but also it has this whole entire thing called the Thief Kingdom, which is this magical place that is so cool and so fantastic, and I love reading about it. Up top we have The Sword of Kagan, which is a mom fantasy. It's all I know. It's all I care to know. Can't wait to be getting to it. And then smack dab in the middle we have House of Leaves. This book's heavier than it looks. This is a mixed media horror book which is about this house. I am to this day not sure if this is based on real events or not, because the summary makes it sound like it's real, but I don't know if the summary is real or not. It's about this collection of essays and journal entries and web articles of these people trying to find out more about this house, and so I don't know if them trying to make it sound real is just like a ploy or if it's actually real or what. But I'm really excited about it because this is marked as one of the scariest books of all time, and on top of that, I love mixed media books. When I read Rules for Vanishing, boy, I just knew that I needed to get my hands on this because this feels like the adult version of that. For this month, I'm going to do things slightly differently. I feel like I say this every other month. The reason for it this month is because I have racked up quite a few arcs, and I need to be getting to them before the end of the year. So in the month of October, I'm going to be mainly focusing on finishing up most of the arcs that I have. I know I'm not going to get to all of them. So what I'm going to say for this month is that arcs can go anywhere. They can go for owned, they can go for library books. Normally I try to stick them just to owned, but I will sometimes fudge it and put them in library if they like really fit and they're perfect for it. But this month I'm saying screw it, I'm fudging it completely. If an arc fits, it's going there in front of another book. I have my list of books that I hope to read this month. It's really freaking long. There are way more of them than there are spots on this board, so let's start doing some cards. I'm going to start by doing my owned books. So I'm going to do a nice little shuffle. Some cards are falling out, and you know what that means? Okay, those are the cards I'm picking. 6 cards fell out. I haven't looked at them, so we're just gonna pick from random. These 2 in the middle, this one here, And then this one, these two will go back in the pile to be shuffled in later. Our options for owned books are less than 1,000 reviews. So this means I can look at Amazon, Goodreads, anywhere where you can review a book. The reviews have to have less than 1,000, not the ratings. Might help if I put the card the right way. Book Everywhere, Coin Flip, and Biggest Book. Okay, Biggest Book is super easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to my Goodreads. We are going to go to my owned shelf because I do know for a fact that out of all my ARCs, none of them are like massively large. So I'm going to categorize these by length, and then I am going to make sure that it is in ascending order, and it's loading right now. But the top one is Rhythm of War. I will not be reading Rhythm of War because I need to finish Oathbringer first. So I'm gonna say it's okay for me to skip it this time. So the next one underneath that is, I should have already known this because I've gotten this prompt before, but it is Saphrael's Hand, just because I am going to be gone for a whole week of October, so big books are not my friend right now. Actually, afterwards, I've already finished the entire board, but I want to cut in here really quickly because I've been doing some thinking about the fact that I'll be gone an entire week in October, and it's just not reasonable for me to have Biggest Book on the board. I will not read this book. I can already tell you right now, I won't do it. It is not something that is going to even like feasibly be possible this month. So I'm gonna pick a new card for this. I'm sorry that this is kind of breaking my rules. There are so many other books I want to read this month and moving forward. So I'm going to be just replacing it and giving myself something I like because that's the whole entire point of reading anyways. Just to prove to you all, I'm doing a quick shuffle. And so the card I will be picking is this one. Magic in Summary. For that, I am going to be reading Storm of Echoes, which is a book that I have been dying to read, and it comes out this month and I'm so excited about it. It is the sequel to A Winter's Promise, which is about Ophelia and Thorn. Ophelia is sent off into an arranged marriage with Thorn into the North Pole, and she has magical abilities. People in this world all seem to have magical abilities, and hers is that she can walk through mirrors and that when she touches objects she can read them. And when she goes off to be married to Thorn, and there's politics and intrigue and danger, and it is just so good, and I have loved the first 3 books, and this is the final one, and it is getting published this year, so I'm really excited that I could put it on the board. Let's go and look at all of the books I have on here and try to find one with less than 1,000 reviews. Okay, so this is where my ARCs are going to come in handy. So I have quite a few because ARCs have not been published yet, although a few of mine have been published, and that's why I'm trying to catch up on them. They don't have more than 1,000 reviews, which is really handy for me. So I have quite a few that I can be selecting from. I am going to be looking at my computer now to see which ones I really need to read this month. I have 3 that are going to be published this month, and none of them have more than 1,000 reviews. The Spawn of Spiracy by Jessie Nolan Bailey. I read the first book last year, and so the author reached out to me again and asked if I would review the second one. And since that author did specifically reach out to me and it wasn't just a NetGalley thing, I'm gonna put that one for this card. So the first one is about this, it's a dark fantasy about this, like, it's almost like a sci fantasy about this futuristic world where, so it says, the land and its people are corrupted. The Sachem, chief of the United Tribes, is to blame. That's right. So it's these 2 people who are off on this mission to kidnap what is essentially the queen of this land to try and get change to happen. The queen doesn't totally believe that her husband is in the wrong, and it's kind of this journey of these characters like starting to learn more about each other and figure things out. It was really dark and I really enjoyed book 1, but it has been a while since I've read book 1, so I might have to update myself on what happens before I go into book 2, which is great because I actually have a video on my channel where I read and reviewed book 1. I can just go rewatch that. For Book Everywhere, I'm going to put The Maidens. I don't remember what the author's name is off the top of my head. I have this as an ARC and I didn't read it when it wasn't published yet, but I'm really excited to be getting to it because I've been hearing some really mixed reviews about it, and I just want to know if I'm gonna like it or dislike it or what. And I believe this is like a dark academia book about this group of girls that call themselves the Maidens, and they're like obsessed with one of their teachers. I've heard some really bad things about this book, but I've heard some decent reviews about it as well. And then finally I have coin flip. Let me pick 2 books and then we'll flip some coins. I have 2 books that I think are going to be somewhat similar because they are both new adult fantasy romances about fae. So I'm going to do a coin flip between the 2 of them. The first one is The Sunderlands. Both of these are TikTok books, and both of them the authors convinced me to read their books based on the TikToks. This one is very dark and apparently very bloody, and apparently the main character is morally gray and might even be leaning towards villainous. I know the cover doesn't even look like that, but she has the cover for the sequel up on TikTok now, and it does a much better job of captivating that emotion. The back of the book says, a kingdom of men is pushing the elven clans to the Sunderlands over the brink of extinction. When her people are attacked, she can no longer hold back. The beast within awakens. God knows there will be no redemption on the other side of her revenge. That's all I'm gonna read to you all. I'm so excited to pick this up. I wanted to read it in September, but just didn't get around to doing it. The second book that I am going to be putting on the coin flip is going to be Autumn's Tithe. It comes out in 2 days as of me filming this, and I have pre-ordered it, so it will be showing up on my doorstep probably in 2 days, hopefully in 2 days. And this is once again another, I already told you what it is. Every girl in Ballamora dreams of being chosen by the Fae. For some, because the Fae promised to deliver them to the beautiful Fae realm. For Larkin, because her closest friend was chosen previous years, she tries to accept that fate until she discovers that her friend is in danger and the promise of eternal joy amongst the Fae could be a lie. So it sounds like this girl is going to basically be trying to catch a Fae's eye so that she can go and rescue her friend. I can't find a coin right now, so I'm gonna be flipping one of my coasters that Sticker Mule sends to you every single time you order. For the side that looks like something, I will do the book that I have here in hand, and for the side that's blank, I will do the book that is blank because it's not here right now. So here we go. I have the book, I have the thing in front of me, and I'm hitting play now, and we're gonna flip. Blank. So I'm gonna be reading Autumn's Tithe. For library books, I need to pick 8 prompts. I'm really glad I could put some arcs in here because I could have definitely used arcs for the other ones, and I chose not to. Shuffle. We're gonna do it one more time. If any cards fall out, they are the ones I pick. No cards fell out, so we will be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. First up, we have more than 1,000 reviews. I can't believe I got both of those in here. Second up, we have 4-word title. Third, we have blue cover. Fourth, we have author of color. Fifth, we have book I've pushed off. Sixth, we have 5-star prediction. Seventh, we have favorite color on cover. And 8th, we have video book. Perfect. So that's a book that I'm going to read for a video that I am filming. For 5-star prediction, I'm going to be reading Caliban's War. Yes, I own it. What's up with this is I'm actually going to be listening to the audiobook through my library, so I am 110% okay with calling it a library book. So this is the sequel to Leviathan Wakes, which I read last month and really enjoyed. I ended up rating it a 4.5. It wasn't quite a 5-star for me just because of how it ended specifically, but I have high hopes that this one will keep me intrigued and just be that extra little kick that I need to get it to a 5-star rating. The first book was all about this missing girl and how her disappearance kind of started this war between all of these people, and we were following 2 POVs. One was this like ice transporter, and he was like the captain of his ship, and they kind of come across the missing girl's ship and start to cause some problems, some problems are caused to them. And then the other one is the detective who is investigating the missing girl's disappearance. So I believe in this book we follow 4 or 5 POVs, and if I'm correct, none of them are from book 1. One of them is from book 1. I haven't really looked into what this one is about or who is talking in this book. I have just heard that this one gets so much better than the first book. For blue cover, I am going to be using Son of the Storm. It's a little bit of a stretch, but there's definitely a lot of blue on this cover, and I'm really excited to be getting to this. This is one of my arcs, so I need to be reading it, so it counts for either prompt in this specific month. This is about a intellectual, a man, a researcher. Is he a librarian? I don't remember exactly what his title is. Danzo is a clever scholar on the cusp of achieving greatness, only he doesn't want it. Instead, he prefers to chase forbidden stories about what lies outside the city walls. According to Goodreads, pre-colonial empires of Western African story. For 4 words in title, I'm going to be doing another arc. I just dropped that. The arc is going to be within these wicked walls. I've had this arc for a while. This book actually isn't out yet. It is published in October. So I really need to be getting into it. The summary on Goodreads says, "What the heart desires, the house destroys. Andromeda is a Torah, an exorcist hired to cleanse households of the evil eye. When a handsome young heir named Magnus Rochester reaches out to hire her, Andromeda quickly realizes that it's a job like no other, with horrifying manifestations at every turn, and that Magnus is hiding far more than she has been trained for." For the next one, I'm going to be doing Author of Color, and for that I am going to be reading The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri, another arc, which I have not read, but I'm really glad I'm getting it on the board because it's time. I need to read it, and it's been published for a long time now. This one, it is the story of 2 women. One of them is the sister to the emperor, or is it the wife? Let me look that up. It is the sister, and she is not going to listen to her brother because he has a certain thing that he wants her to do. I don't know what it is, and she refuses to do it. So he sends her off to this, like, abandoned palace off into the netherworld, kind of to be forgotten. And then we're also following one of the women who is sent there, I believe, to kind of be like a chambermaid for her, and it's going to be this unlikely friendship, possibly romance between the 2 of them. And I do believe that there are going to be talks of rebellion amongst these women. I didn't absolutely love Tasha Suri's other book, Empire of Sand, because it was a little bit too slow for my personal taste, but I have high hopes for this because I have heard that this one is a little bit faster. I have actually read a few chapters of this one already, just to kind of test out the waters, and I enjoyed what I read, but I wasn't like 100% pulled in. So I will be getting the audiobook from my library to help me get through the beginning to get into the story, and I'm really excited about that because now it 100% counts for a library book and I don't have to feel bad. For more than 1,000 reviews, I am going to be reading The Anonymous Girl. I'm going to be reading this with my mom and sister-in-law. We're kind of starting to do like a book club together, but it's a little bit iffy. We weren't totally in love with last month's pick, but we have found a few that we are really excited about, and so we're going to be reading this one first. What is Anonymous Girl about? I was very confused. I read the summary many times, and I still don't know. I gave you guys the wrong book. It's The Wife Between Us. Same authors, different book. We're going to be reading The Wife Between Us. It's the one with the blue cover. I could have used it for blue cover, but anyways. So it says, when you are reading this book, you will make many assumptions. You will assume that you are reading a story about a jealous ex-wife. You will assume she is obsessed with her replacement, a beautiful younger woman who is about to marry the man they both love. You will assume you know the anatomy of this tangled love triangle. Assume nothing. Read between the lines. That's the summary. It sounds really interesting because I love books that don't tell me a lot going into them, and it is a mystery and thriller. Next up for video book, I am going to be reading, what's it called? I want to make sure I get this right. A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. I am making an effort over the next few months especially, but continuing forward past that, to read more sci-fi books so that I can better understand what I like and dislike in sci-fi. I made a whole entire video on this concept, and I listed 10 books that I really hope to read over the next few months, and this one was on there. So this is about a futuristic society where robots advanced so much that they just left mankind behind, and they kind of went and lived out in the wilderness, and then this one robot comes back and starts to bother this tea monk to try to figure out what it is that humans want, and he's very frustrated because he can't seem to get a straight answer. So it's short. I'm excited to get to it. I've never read a Becky Chambers before, and it's sci-fi, so it is accomplishing another task that I am trying to do this month. For book that I have pushed off, I am going to be reading The Pariah by Anthony Ryan. Once again, another arc, and this book is supposed to be another like sci fantasy, which I am so obsessed with right now, so I'm really glad that I can be getting to another one of them. Do I know what this book is about? No. Did I request it because the cover looked really freaking cool and Orbit published it? Yes. Is it 600 pages exactly? According to Goodreads, also yes. Born into the troubled kingdom of Albermain. Why do we gotta pick such weird names? Aelin's scribe is raised as an outlaw, quick to wit and deft with a blade. Aelin is content with the freedom of the woods and the comradeship of his fellow thieves. I thought Aelin was a woman's name. Maybe I'm saying that wrong. But an act of betrayal set him on a new path, one of blood and vengeance, which eventually leads him to a soldier's life in the king's army. And then finally, for favorite color on the cover, we are going to be picking Crossbones. Say with me, folks, it's another arc that I have requested. This one actually hasn't come out yet, so I'm really excited about that. It comes out though like the first week of October, so by the time you are watching this video, it'll be very close to coming out. Do I know what this is about? No, but I'm pretty sure it is a fantasy romance, and that's why I requested it. So it says, never trust a pirate. The blood bell tolls mark the death of the pirate king and the start of the trials. Love trials. I love trials. Not that they are love trials. I love trials. Does that make sense? A heart-stopping competition where the reward is the bone crown. Only one contender can claim the coveted island throne. Each will gamble life and limb to win. Captain's sister, Maiden. I'm not going to read anymore. There are multiple POVs. They're all going to be competing in this trial. The reason why I'm calling this my favorite color is because boy, do I love black. And that's it, folks. That is all of the books that made it onto the board. And as always, I have a freaking stack of owned books that I want to be getting through before the end of the year because I'd really like to go into 2022 with less than like 15. That sounds really nice to me. So hopefully I can make it through a bunch of these this month and clear some debts that I owe. Anyways, thank you for watching. That's all I have to say this month. If you want to watch all of TBR Bingo, you can. There's a playlist linked down below. I don't remember how my outro goes, so until next time, I will talk to you in the comments. Bye!